G'day, I'm Happy Dave, and in this live stream, what I want to do is take 13 big project ideas that are sitting in my head. They're interconnected, evolving, and a little bit chaotic, to be honest. And today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them all out in a series of micro essays. Now, I haven't written the micro essays, so we're kind of planning it as we go. And the reason for this is that I'm trying to get clarity around what Happy Dave is, what brand Dave is, what the different YouTube channels are that I do, what the different pillar contents are that I have in place and think through, what the little applications and structures that I have in place. And the reason this is important for me to do today, and why it might be useful for you to observe this particular live stream, is that I was talking to a business coach on Friday, and he was really interested in the way I was thinking about things in the world. And we had a discussion for an hour. He's headed over to China. He'll be back in a week, and we might continue this conversation. Now, I don't know whether we will work together. I don't know whether maybe we can think of collaborative projects together. I don't know whether we'll part ways. But what I do know is that I've got too many loose ends in my business that some of them need to be dropped, some of them need to be delegated, and some of them need to be parked. I need to get clarity and focus. So this video or live stream that you're watching is partly me laying out a bunch of things that are in my head in structured formats, and you'll get to see me just working with a few AI tools along the way as we go. And for yourself, maybe get some ideas on how you too can find structure and focus in your business. Maybe it's your YouTube channel, your creative endeavors. And I think it's for those people that probably they shiny object syndrome, if you relate to that, or you're just doing too many things and you're trying to find focus. So let's get into it. I did a little live stream plan before this, and let's just have a look at it. So it's called Unlocking Strategic Clarity for Your Business Vision, and this is aimed at me as a case study, and the purpose is to share a high-level video essays that map to creative business thinking. So, and my goal is to deliver this essay to the business coach or anyone else that would be interested in understanding my ecosystem. So we'll talk a little bit about Happy Dave, Winning Prompts, AI TLDR, and Happy Dave Research, which are 4 different YouTube channels. Look at Cozy Cafe, which is a storytelling YouTube channel and physical cafe. We'll look at Emotional Support Spiders, which is a dystopian storytelling world. We'll look at Fly Video, which is an automation system for content creators. We'll look at for Clueless, the clue is to do less, which is I don't know why it says that, but essentially what it is a programming language of sorts aimed at business people, not actually aimed at programmers. And then we'll look at Project Theodore, which is an AI agent system that watches live streams and reacts based on what's going on. We'll have a look at my agent workflow builder, the 555 manifesto, Mountain of Mastery, and how it all comes together under what I call Brand Dave, which is just my name. What's my brand? I'm just calling it Brand Dave. It's an internal name that I use. So I thought the best way to do this was to consider things from a mind mapping or infographic view of the world. So as we go through, I just started this new Napkin document. Napkin's this great tool that can take pieces of text, the stuff I just read through, and turn it into visualization graphics. And I guess I got to keep thinking as I go through this is that I need a structure. Now, I think I have a structure somewhere. There's a lot of things going on at the moment, and here we go. We've got a suggested breakdown. Okay, so let's think of it. Macro, start from the brand Dave Venn diagram. We will talk about that, but I think it's also useful that we take this particular information right here, and we'll just keep this one available. So let's create a little command and say, if I need a new essay, I will prefix it with the term followed by a short description of what we're going to talk about, and you will just write a really short outline based on this particular framework. So I had to stop there for a second because I think what will go inside the square brackets is the context we'll need, and I'm just putting in this particular essay, and we don't need that. This is essentially the outline that we want to work with. Okay, so what it is, why it is, how it is, and this will give me the ability to turn information into a structure each time we come across a new topic. Obviously, a lot of it's in my head, so verbally it's going to come out as well as we go through this. So let's just start with one, and I think what we will do is we'll work with channels one at a time. Okay, so we'll say essay. We'll say Appy Dave. And I don't know that I necessarily want that information. I might just say something else. Appy Dave is a YouTube channel where I get to talk about my scale framework as a means to educate people in the areas of prompt engineering, agentic workflows or standard operating procedures, SOPs. I get to then talk about how they can be converted into automation agents. After that, I look at how these automation agents can interact with the outside world using inputs and outputs such as APIs and webhooks. And lastly, I look at how I can simplify agents with a human in the loop mechanism so that people can use them in a much more simplistic fashion. Now, the reason I'm doing this the way I'm doing it is that when I convey this information to the business coach, I just want him to have a clear view of what I'm trying to do in a simplistic fashion. So I might just prompt engineering, SOP, agent automation. Now it might be useful to just pop over to another set of documents as we're going. We've got the live stream running at the moment, I'm assuming. So we'll just hit delete on that. We'll look at a couple of things, and what I'm trying to find is this. This is the scale framework. So we're just going to grab that particular information and reshape this information and say, relay out the scale framework based on what we just talked about, plus this extra information. And this is a more accurate reflection. Now, if you don't know, the information you're seeing on the left, I don't know why that's red. That's really odd. This is I must be in it in another browser. But basically, this is by a guy named Dan Koh. If you don't know him, he's just incredible. This is who he is, and he's been putting together this product called Cortex, Kortex, and it's a second brain sort of system. So that's why I've got information in there. Okay, so this is good. Appy Dave is a public-facing entity and YouTube channel, a sandbox where you explore teaching systems through AI, automation, prompt engineering, and automation. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Why it solves? I'm not don't necessarily fully want to go into this here. What I do want to do is say, can you summarize the why, what, and how into a really short bullet point list where there's no detail, there's just titles. And I'm going to take this information as it comes through over to, I think I need a little bit more detail. Give me slightly more detail. Okay, a YouTube channel. So I'm not going to read this just now because I'm going to talk to it. But before I do, I'm going to visualize it. So we're just going to pop in down here and hopefully we've got enough visualization or enough data here to come up with a infographic that would tell us what we want. Okay, identify. We could. This is what I love about this software is that it can turn stuff into visual, which can be a great communication tool. Scale framework. What's that one saying? AI workflows. Okay, let's go with that. We'll say with that. And we will just talk to it as we go. Will we jump backwards and forwards? Maybe. No, I don't think we need to because I think we've got it all here. Okay, so essay number 1. What is Happy Dave? So it's a YouTube channel. It's my personal brand. So it started life because I was struggling to get videos out on other YouTube channels where I was getting help from video editors and creators. And I just realized after a while that all these topics on AI were coming out. I understood them and I thought I need to get my knowledge out into the world in a structured, packaged video format. And so that led me to using tools, and I'll show a couple of them, like the Stream Deck, which is allowing me to change to different windows. So let's just do that right now. We'll come over to this particular window. I pressed a button on the Stream Deck. I'm using Ecamm Live, which is this incredible software that I can use both for live streaming like I'm doing right now and also for packaging up regular videos. So this is where Happy Dave came from. Now that then leads us into, I think at this point actually, we can just move on to the second essay. So essay number 1 is Happy Dave, where actually we'll add one more. I've been talking about a bunch of AI technologies, but I recently did a presentation or a talk at a tech summit. And to get that presentation in place, I realized I need to focus. This channel should only be about 5 things. I called them the scale framework. The S is structured prompts. Essentially, it's prompt engineering. After that, we go into creating workflows. So this is designing, it's the architecture of how an AI automation workflow could work. In business, we might call it a standard operating procedure. After that, it was the automation. So how do you automate it? Do you automate it programmatically with a programming framework like LangChain or the new OpenAI SDK? Or do you use a low-code, no-code tool like Make, Zapier, N8N, or the one I'm using at the moment is called AI Gentiv. After that, we've got this layered, the layers of technology around it. So for me, a lot of the work I'm trying to do on other channels is automating content creation using, say, Leonardo AI for images, Design for characters, 11 Labs for audio transcripts, Sunu, whatever it is, for music. And then I want to visualize it all really quickly using Canva, so maybe using the Canva SDK. So that's what the L in the scale, it's about. Actually, sorry, that's what the E is. It's the last bit, which is that Canva is this exponential creation of content. Like, how do we get content and knowledge out into the world in a useful value proposition that is visually appealing to different audiences. So this is everything to do with Happy Dave. So let's move back and move on to winning prompts, and we'll talk about it as another channel. There are 3 main channels in the ecosystem with a 4th one around them, and we'll just put this in here. So we'll just say the best way to take this is to come back to this idea and say SA, winning prompts. This website or YouTube channel and system is about documenting different areas of prompt engineering. So this is about prompts, prompt types, and prompt chains. The way it's done is by taking the information, turning it into informational fact sheets using ChatGPT, and then finally visualizing it using Canva-based template systems and or HTML-based template systems. So now we're building a little overview of what the winning prompts system is about. So I think as we go through this, it's always useful to visualize stuff. So if we head over to Appy Dave and we look through Appy Dave, which we just talked about, we can see that it's just a bunch of videos. They take a fair bit of time to do, to be honest. Back early in the day when I was doing down here, they were probably one every 3 to 4 weeks. And when I got the time to focus on them, I can do 1 or 2 a week, but I'm trying to spread myself across too many things. That then leads into what is winning prompts. So winning prompts, you've just heard what it is. We'll make sure it's available for us visually here as well. Content Hub, am I on the right thing? Visualizing prompt engineering types, frameworks, types, and chains. Okay, why? It's see, prompt engineering from my point of view as Appy Dave and as Brand Dave and from the Scale framework is the most important thing that if you're in business and you want to be able to use AI, or if you're in life and you want to use AI, prompt engineering is number 1. So to me, there was always going to be a need for a channel dedicated to prompt engineering. Now, I personally don't have the time to work on this channel. So this channel's had some big videos. It got to about 750 followers nearly 2 years ago. But one of the things that I was able to do with this was, and I think I need to do it through the video system. Actually, I'm thinking of a different one now because I've got other channels. So we'll go here and we'll click on this one. I think we'll hit play and see what pops up.
Did you know you can embed prompts into an article and then ask GPT to edit your article based on that prompt? Here I have an intro to a video.
I will just pause that there. So the idea of that was to use voiceovers like 11 Labs, use templates. This was all done in Canva, and at the time it was done with Midjourney and screenshots out of ChatGPT. But the whole thing can be automated with HTML. There's so much automation, systematization that can be done with this channel. Now, should I keep going with it? And the answer is no. I've got other priorities in my business life and what I want to do. So it's certainly an on-hold project for me. But the interesting thing is that it doesn't take a lot to turn this into a viable project through delegation, systematization, and automation. So I have it as part of one of my main channels, even though it's functionally dead at the moment, because when I think of the Brand Dave and we start looking at a Venn diagram, which has Appy Dave in one corner and it has winning prompts in another corner, they're so interlinked. Like prompt engineering is so important, and it really does need its own dedicated exploration. So we'll leave it at that, and I'm just wondering visually. Let's just we'll take that and we'll just pop it in over here. I think when I look at this, it's probably way too much information for a graphic, but let's just see what Napkin comes up with. I love like just experimenting with Napkin with these sorts of things, just so I can see how things can be simplified. So what do we got? Structured toolkit, visual templates, informational fact sheets, documentation system. Could be. This looks a little bit more like what I want. Transforming prompt engineering into structured toolkits. And when you can't see what I'm doing. Sorry, guys. So when we look at that and we put that information here, you can see an infographic. Now with an infographic, this is the other good thing about what could be done with systems like winning prompts, and I might also talk about trending topics as well, because they match the same information. This information can take valuable raw data that's out there in the world with trends. It's trending data and a little bit of a fact sheet and related trends. With prompt engineering, it's just there's consistent repeatable patterns that you see all the time, but they're applied to different business processes. So it might be marketing, creating a blog post. It might be diagnostics. Let's just check that the data in this system is okay. It might be coding, but all of it can be represented visually as mind maps, as flowcharts, as little prompt templates, prompt packs, prompt chains when they're being chained together in a list of things. And so for me, this style of YouTube channel that I want to do here is not just about the prompt engineering. It's about exploring this idea of automated content creation for certain problems. So we'll just jump back and let's go and look at the next thing. And this is AI TLDR. And this is, for me, one of the most exciting projects that I've got going on at the moment. And if we just jump in over to this point of view, we'll just pop in here for a second, and we'll go to AI TLDR. And this is the third channel in the system. So recently we just did a video that's here, and this video is kicking off 31 views an hour at the moment. It's only 2 days old. What I find interesting about the AI TLDR channel is, firstly, because I'm not involved, I don't actually create the videos that are here. There's a focus and a clarity on this channel that means that it's growing faster than Appy Dave. When I look at the view count on this channel, when I look at the watch hours on this channel and per month, and when I look at the subscribers per month, they are about the same as Appy Dave, but Appy Dave is 3 times bigger as a channel, which means this is actually a more popular channel, even though Appy Dave is a bigger channel. And a lot of that I've come to learn, and I'll pull people in as I go. If I just type in creator booth, YouTube, and this is the guy, Ed Lawrence. I love watching his content. I'm not going to pull it up because I'll start making noises, but he talks about this idea of YouTubers having a platypus, this animal that has a duck bill. It's a mammal. It swims. It looks like a beaver. It's got all sorts of stuff. It doesn't look like a consistent animal. And he talks about this being a problem with YouTubers who go off on too many topics. And this is what's happened with Appy Dave, and it's the reason why I now have a scale framework, so that I know that when I'm producing content on that channel, it just fits into one of 5 buckets, and people can maybe, if it's about finding an audience of people that only are really interested in this YouTube automation workflows and agents and simplifications, so that they can apply it to their own personal projects, their own personal businesses. Now, with the AI TLDR channel that we're looking at here, we use those processes all the time. And I've been doing a lot of work in storytelling, which is how this video that's blowing up at the moment, this was part of a Tech Summit talk that I did on how to create Hollywood raster trailers, and it's using a combination of different tools. So the AI TLDR for me, it represents a couple of things in Brand Dave. Again, when we come to the Venn diagram of Appy Dave in one corner, winning prompts in another corner, and AI TLDR. And while we're doing that, let's make sure that we pop in over here and say, where do we want to do it? Essay. I'm going to say essay, and I'm going to call it Brand Dave, made up of, let's also go to this view, made up of Appy Dave, winning prompts, AI TLDR. That stands for Too Long Didn't Read. It's an acronym that many people know and many people don't know. So as if these YouTube channels were inside a Venn diagram named Brand Dave. So I'm hoping that the word Venn, let's just see whether the word Venn gets in there. Okay, not quite, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this information, we're going to pop in over to our visualization tool of choice for today. It does say Venn diagram, and I don't actually know whether their templates for doing infographics actually has this particular shape. If it does, well, yeah, it does. There it is, right there. That one will do. So Appy Dave, winning prompts, AI TLDR. This is cool. We can leave that right there. Now it's not quite right. There's creative problem solving. That maybe that's more here. Personalized insights. I don't know. Simplified innovation. Look, we can leave those words. I can change them around. But this is what, as I'm communicating with a business coach or anyone else that's interested in understanding the higher level concepts of the business, maybe in the future I want to work with a brand development person, someone that can help me develop the brand, then they should be able to see everything from the point of view of Brand Dave, not from the point of view of Appy Dave or winning prompts or AI TLDR. So we're making progress. We're, I don't know how far are we? We're 27 minutes in, and we've talked about Brand Dave down the bottom. We've talked about Appy Dave, winning prompts, and AI TLDR. Let's now go have a talk about Appy Dave research and why it even exists. So this has been my biggest mistake and my biggest learning, this channel. And the reason it's my biggest mistake is that it blew up to a number that looked like 2,700 subscribers in 9 days, and it did it really early in the piece. We'll just go down to videos for a second. It happened here. Third video, 100 times the channel, best performing video of any channel I've got, by a long shot. I was talking to people on a live stream yesterday about why that happened, and there's two main reasons why this happened. You can't see it, sorry guys, bring that up. There's two reasons why this blew up. One was that I got on a trend. There was a trending topic. It was obviously it was ChatGPT, but it wasn't ChatGPT specifically. It was using auto GPT, and I had a little bit of clickbait. AGI is here. A few people commented negatively about that particular statement, but I think the main reason that this video also got a lot of strength, and I could see that from the comments, was that it was fairly early in people working with ChatGPT and different tools. They wanted to know about the tool, but I didn't approach it from the point of view of teaching people. I instead approached it from the point of view is I'm going to take all the documentation of this software, I'm going to drop it into ChatGPT, and I'm going to get ChatGPT to teach me, and I'll verbalize it. I'll visualize and verbalize it to people. And at the time, a lot of people didn't realize you could use ChatGPT as your own personal mentor, your own personal tutor. So both being on the bandwagon of the trend, plus a different way of looking at the world, helped make this video a success. Why it's also my biggest learning is that I kind of abandoned this channel pretty quickly, actually. I'm trying to think of what happened, but you can see not much goes on in this channel afterwards. And the reason is that the current Appy Dave channel got started instead with a different name. It was called Appycast, and you're going to see that word more from me in the future, because this is where I'm doing automated podcasts, is through Appycast. And I think I haven't quite named it there. This is going to say Appycast right here. But let's, I guess I just want to briefly unpack why this was a mistake. Why did I go and create a brand new channel? And it was because I was still naive in my YouTube journey, and I'd learned about these concepts of niches and what should you focus on, and I kind of knew that the direction that I'd done the first couple of videos on this channel were not actually the way I wanted to go. So I started a new channel, and there were only 3 videos. So why the heck did I even do this? So if I'd have been smart, maybe I'd have 5 or 10,000 subscribers today, and they'd all be on this channel. But that never happened. Instead, I went through the long haul of building this channel. And so recently, I realized I needed even faster delivery of content, because if I'm really flying, I can do these 1 or 2 a week. But what I've been able to do with Appy Research is live streams like the one you're watching right now. So we're currently 31 minutes into a live stream, which took me 15 to 20 minutes to plan just before I got online, and maybe an hour of conversation, because I didn't even have this live stream as something I was going to do today. I was just having a coffee and thinking about this business coach that I want to communicate my ideas to. And I thought, well, why don't you do a bunch of essays on all the ideas in your head and send that to him? And that way he knows what you're planning. But I'm also aware that if there's potentially a nugget of good information in something, that someone else might be curious about it. And so you might as well just do a live stream. It creates content. I can repurpose this over to a live stream, to a podcast, an Appycast, really easily. So this is why this live stream came about today. Because the turnaround time, I could do one of these every day without breaking a sweat. And I cannot do that on any other ones of my channel. It allows me to get clarity around, it allows me to practice the craft, like I'm talking to the camera. I'm making mistakes. You would have seen earlier that I had different screens come up, and I was to what I was talking about. So in doing this, you get to think about things subconsciously through the practice. So anyway, I think I'm rambling a little bit. So let's jump back and go. We now have this concept, and we'll just pop it up here, of Brand Dave being Appy Dave with winning prompts and AI TLDR. And we will just come back to here for 1 second and say, can you add in one more channel called Dave Research, which is a live stream channel that feeds information to the other 3 channels in the Brand Dave. And so in other words, it kind of wraps around them, and turn it into, we'll just say essay again. Hopefully it'll keep the pattern. Yeah, what is it? We've got Appy Dave Research. This is cool. And we can then take this information, I think, drop on over to Napkin, and let's just see what this could visualize as. Now this one visualized as a Venn diagram. This one's going to be a little bit different. individual channels, Appy Dave Research. Yeah, cool. Some of them are okay. I don't know that I've necessarily got clarity here. And just so you know, when you're using tools like Napkin AI, they don't always work that crash hot in, say, a live stream, because they don't always give you what you want. But I still find this to be an incredibly powerful tool to create information that I can put into slides for the presentations I do, the videos I do, or the documentation that I do. So that's 4 down. We've looked at Appy Dave Research, Appy Dave, AI TLDR, and winning prompts. And we could say it's 5 down because we've seen how it fits in at Brand Dave. And for me, these are what I would call my core business units. Everything that I do centers around these 3 concepts, even though winning prompts is actually a dead channel at the moment. It's still one of my core channels. And then that leaves us into thinking, well, what other talking points go on in my head on a daily basis, and how do I put this out into the world as content? How do I build business structures around it? Why do I do it? Like, why are any of these next points important? So we'll move into Cozy Cafe. So let's just do a Google Maps on that. I think might be the easiest way. Jump on here, we'll just go Maps, Cozy Cafe, and we'll go Chiang Mai, and you'll see this cafe. So there's a cafe over in Chiang Mai. I wonder why it's not showing up. Let's do that. And it's run by my partner, not by me. It's run by my partner, and she has this cafe. And she runs it. It's a physical business. It does what physical businesses do. You know, people come, they buy coffees, etc. Blah blah blah. But I always looked at this and I thought I could help with digital marketing. That's all. Just like, how do you help with digital marketing with something like a cafe? And personally, I thought I would love to use AI agents and workflows to solve the problem of creating, I guess, lead generation to a physical business. It's an idea that I'm testing, but also, what else can you do with digital marketing online? How can you amplify it into other ideas? So I've been doing a lot of storytelling workflows, and we'll look at more of it, I guess, when we look at emo spiders and the 555 manifesto, the Mountain of Mastery. We'll look at how I see storytelling in the age of AI and automation. But the thing about Cozy Cafe, it's an attempt to turn stories that happen in this really beautiful place. Chiang Mai is a great part of the world. There's a really rich culture going on there. The people are beautiful, and there's interesting stories. And you think, how do you take a story that you've encountered, that you've experienced, and present it in a way that people would go, wow, I want to go there, or I want to see what this place is about. And to me, that was going to be podcasts. How can you take a raw story, which is a sequence of events and things that happen, drama, whatever it might be, plus a bunch of screenshots, and overlay them on top of a podcast where 2 people are discussing someone else's experience. So this is a project for me. This is not a business. This is a project where I get to learn how to do AI automation and workflows around storytelling, and then make it available for a traditional brick and mortar business to use it. Because I figure that if I can figure this out, there's a lot of people that would find this an interesting way of turning stories into marketing material, I guess. So then that leads into the emotional support spiders. And I'm trying to think whether I have a lot of my images around this. I'm just looking in a folder at the moment. And I do. Look at that. Let's head on over to the folder structure for a second. And what, we got too many folders going? I think we do. Let's just close that one. How do I close that one, and why can't I close it? Here it is, emotional support spiders. So this was information that I put together nearly 2 years ago. This was all done with Midjourney, and I can't tell you the exact date because for some reason it's in Thai time. But the idea for me, if you look at these individual pictures, I wonder if I can bring one of them up visually. I can, and we'll just go to a region view like that. So when we look at these particular images, let's get rid of that. You go, here we got this boy and a spider, and there's a connection. It's not the scary idea of an Australian funnel web or redback spider which will kill you in a second. These are companions. They're emotional support animals in a dystopian world of spiders. And back in the days of when I was actually working, winning prompts and exploring the ideas of prompt engineering, I'd created this world, and I started off with the philosophical world that I wanted. Like, it was a blend of Buddhism and other sorts of philosophical points of view. I created a dystopian multiverse reality, I guess, and I was blending concepts from The Simpsons with the Smurfs and a little bit of maybe Dungeons and Dragons to come up with this world. And then I'd be developing these characters. Characters would be either humans or they would be spiders, and from the characters being developed, I would generate a backstory, and the backstory was generated in such a way that it matched the attributes of the character that was in front of me. So, for instance, if we had a spider like this, and the spider was scared of water, then that would probably have shown up in the backstory. And from there, bring it together as a buddy story. We've got the buddy story, and the buddy story is a dramatic scene in which two characters that have never met each other before, the spider and the human, form a relationship, an emotional connection that allows them to move forward. So the whole idea around this topic of emotional support spiders is storytelling in a dystopian reality that's got irony in it as well, because we got spiders are not emotional support animals normally. And then thinking, how could AI agents have been used in every aspect of it? So can an AI agent be a world builder, a philosophical viewer, builder, a character builder? Could it generate the prompts for the images? Could it create the day in the life stories as those characters move forward in the world? So this, for me, is an experiment that I'm turning into a 3-day course to show people how you can create your own worlds as such. And so it's, for me, what I would call a project. It may become a YouTube channel, I don't know. It's certainly a project to represent new ways of using artificial intelligence that people hadn't really been experiencing before. Then we get into Fly Video, and so we're now on to number 6, though we're halfway, I think. So let's just close that out for a second and think about what Fly Video is. So Fly Video firstly did start life as a YouTube channel. So I'm just going to type this and click on this, and here we have Fly Video. And this was the first video channel I did before ChatGPT Plus came out. And I ended up doing a sequence of videos. It took me 5 months. It was so hard. And the videos that I did ended up being shorts anyway. That I recorded 30 videos in 30 days in a, I don't know what month it was, and then I took 5 months to get these videos out, and I only got 18 of the original 13. And they were, I thought, really good for what they were. If I hit play on this, I'm not sure.
Color Palette Generator is a URL provided by Canva in which you can drag it.
So it was kind of like a tutorial in a series of tutorials with this cool animations and stuff like that, of which I had absolutely no idea how to do at the beginning. But what is it today? It's a dead channel, and it's not even a channel that I'm ever thinking of reviving. But what I learnt from this experience, and the reason why it became almost the first video in my journey of a content creator, was that I knew that if I wanted to get the knowledge that was in my head out into the world, I needed to learn how to do YouTube automation. Now, if you think of YouTube automation from the sorts of tools that are out there, and what can we do? We'll type in Pictory, I think. Pictory AI would be a good one, and we'll put in InVideo. So here are two tools that are out there. And in fact, let's also put in Sora. So we've got Sora. So Sora is an open AI video generation tool. There's Runway ML. Then you've got more the video packaging systems like InVideo, and we've got Pictory as well. And the problem with all of these, in my opinion, is they are really only a very simple tool in a much broader ecosystem. And when I think of all the videos I've created, I've had to learn how to do things like planning, researching, scripting, learning how to do intros, outros, calls to action. And at the moment, we haven't even hit record, right? And Sean Cannell from Think Media would say, you just got to press record. Well, no, you don't. Yes, you do. You do just have to press record, but you also have to do a whole lot of stuff beforehand. And then you do the recording, which is actually relatively simple once you've got a bit of experience. And then you got to do the video editing, which is something I hate. It's not something I do really well, but I do it. I can do aspects of it. And then at the end of that, you go, wow, we're done, we can move on. But no, you can't move on. What you've got to do next is you've got to get it out into the world. You've got to publish it. You've got a lot that you got to do there. So if we just jump back to here for a second, and we go, where are we? We're on Fly Video. I will, I'm going to bring up a little application that I built for myself, which is popping up here, called Agent Workflow Builder. And this is like a design system for AI workflows. And I use my YouTube Launch Optimizer. I think if I jump back a few pages, this one, is this the one we're working with? Yep. So even the information that you've been seeing over here on the right, all of this information, this reference card, it was built using this workflow. I started off with an idea. I called it, I have a business coach. I'd like to find clarity and cohesiveness, and there's a few other concepts going on in there. And as I ran through each step, I came up with a video purpose. I came up with a goal. The talking points were really extensive. They're normally like three or 4 points, but I put in all 13 ideas that I wanted to talk about today. And then I improved the goal and the concept now that I knew the talking points. We came up with a YouTube title, so I think this is the YouTube title I went with, Unlock Strategic Clarity for Your Business Vision. And other things happened as I moved through it. I was able to plan some ideas around some images. I kind of liked this one because we had the emotional support spiders going on right there with the spiders in a cave. We got the AI TLDR, and then we got this cozy cafe at the end of it. But I also played around with other tools. Let's just jump out of the stuff we were looking at here. And you can see that the actual thumbnail for today's video, it was either that one or that one. I think it was that one. And I love that this all came together, not because I wrote custom prompts in Midjourney, or in this case Leonardo AI, but because I just had a simple workflow that I repeatedly follow, and everything just comes together. So let's now come back to, where the heck am I? Fly Video. So what is Fly Video then? So Fly Video, if it's not a YouTube channel, because it isn't anymore. And unfortunately my camera is hiding things. Let's go there. It is, Fly Video is really the idea of automating yourself. Or I think the tagline originally for me was automate your YouTube influence. That's what it was going to be about. It was all the systems, both before in the pre-editing of videos and after in the publishing. So when I want to create a LinkedIn article, I guess we could go over to LinkedIn, and we can go and have a look at all the articles that I produce on quite a regular basis, mainly because every time I do a video it becomes a LinkedIn article, and they get written for me. I don't tend to put too much energy into editing these. Because I have such capable workflows now with all the prompt engineering I put into it, that these are generally one-shot prompts that are turning my videos into articles that I can publish and amplify the messages that are going out into the world. So that is what Fly Video kind of could be in my world, a set of AI automation tools that people can use that would solve specific problems in the YouTube automation space. So then as I think about the projects that are in my life, Fly Video is now not a YouTube channel. Fly Video is an actual application to help YouTubers. So let's just jump here for a second. And we go, that's what it looks like. Now, does it look like the Agent Workflow Builder that you were just looking at? Because that is also now another project in my life. So Agent Workflow Builder, and I think we could do a little essay. Let's do essay, Agent Workflow Builder, and we'll say what is it. So it's a design system for AI workflows, prompt chains, and the design of AI agents with a beautiful user interface over the top. That is bespoke to the particular business and the workflow. Now, the Agent Workflow Builder that you're seeing in the background right here as this comes through, whether it be for a YouTube launch optimization like we've got there, or whether it be if we type in localhost, we go, is it the Quick Start Planner? No, it's not. It's one of the others. YouTube Video Planner, sorry, there it is. This is a different workflow. This is not how I see, this is a design tool. Agent Workflow Builder allows me to test my prompts, test them with different large language models, test the outputs that are coming out of them right here, have data being loaded up into attribute context. So as data is changing on those forms, it's changing behind the scenes here. But this is not a workflow engine. So workflow engines, if you're not aware, is what things like N8N and Make AI happen to be. So N8N is a powerful workflow engine. The one I use these days is AI Gentive, which is also a powerful workflow engine. So what then makes Agent Workflow Builder different? And I think it's the fact that with each of these systems that you're looking at, they're generally designed to automate workflows, but workflow automation isn't actually what everyone wants. A lot of people want more human in the loop sort of systems. So as I was developing this, I have a bunch of exports that allow this to be exported to tools like N8N or AI Gentive, or down to the code level using tools like OpenAI's SDK or Crew AI or LangChain, but also that it can build user interfaces. And so let's go and have a look at a user interface. So I recently did a live stream in which I took some prompt packs, and those prompt packs would start off like this. We've got a description of the prompts, then we'd have a chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. and I would then visualize that as a user interface in simple HTML. Now, once that was all done and tested out, I was able to turn it into an actual application. So we'll run this actual application just so you can see how it all works. Now, I might also just bring this back into focus as well. Which window do I want? That one. And say that the idea of Agent Workflow Builder as a project or as an application for me is to solve two problems: to export information into automation systems like N8N and AI Generative, or to export systems into visual user interfaces like you're seeing here. And this is the reason I use AI Generative, because it's from the guys at AI Generative. And so we'll come here and say, give me a story about an emotional support spider and a 15-year-old girl being bullied by an emotional support frog and an 18-year-old man. And so now we have this tool in front of us, which is around these AI automations that I'm really into. I love them as ways of automating my business. That comes up with, here we've got a list of topics that we can pick. I'm just going to go with the first one because it feels like it's the right one to go with. And we can generate some highlights. And you can just work through these prompt chains in a really simplistic fashion. And one of the ways, I'm talking with the guys at the moment on how this all fits together, but I'd like to be able to just talk into my phone or record with my phone. I want to get the visual data coming in as well. And so this is how I'm seeing the world, and where Agent Workflow Builder fits into it, which is of course the tool where I do a lot of my designs around this sort of stuff, is exporting into these other tools so that you can actually have a micro application like the one that produced this image. This is another, that's that same workflow, but at the end where you've got the images and you can turn it into a blog post. Okay, so now where are we? We've talked about Agent Workflow Builder, we've talked about Fly Video. Let's now go have a chat about Clueless. So I don't know why it's named that way, but what Clueless is, the clue is to do less, can be first visualized from a project I did about 10 years ago. I don't know how long ago I did it. It was a domain specific language. And for people that don't understand what they are and why they could be really important in the AI world, is that if you've ever listened to two doctors talk or two lawyers talk, or anyone in a specialized profession in which you're not understanding the language, what they're doing is they're talking in, say, English or whatever their native language is for informational purposes, and overlaid on it is a semantic language or a domain specific language that matches their profession. And so when two doctors are talking, they're using language that sounds like English, but you can be forgiven for not actually understanding what they're talking about. So why do they do that? They do that because they already have a whole lot of intrinsic meaning when they're talking these domain-specific languages that can give a lot of information to the other person so that they can do their job more effectively. So a long time ago, I got into the area of code generation, which today is really easy to do with large language models, but this was before that time. And I built this little application which had a domain-specific language on the left, which was a type of CSV. It was a specialized type. It had multiple structures, which would convert that information into a JSON structure, and from the JSON structure, run it through a template to produce code. And I called it Clueless. The clue is to do less, or you didn't have to be a programmer. You could be clueless. You didn't have to be a programmer to write code. So with Clueless, I then went on a little bit further, and I'm wondering if I've got this in front of us so we can look at it? I do. Let's look at the YouTube launch optimizer that we were just talking through, which is this one. So if this is a design for a big workflow, the workflow is so that I can take a video that's been created and launch it, meaning I can, I don't know, let's go look at it. We can develop all our chapters in these 3 steps here. After that, we can go and work through all the images that you might see visually on the screen in the intro, the outro, different stuff like that. And let's just jump back to a higher level. We can figure out 12 different metrics about the video, like what are the keywords, what's the main theme, what's the tone, what are the competitors. This is all in this area. Can we work out the title that we want to use? Can we work out the text on a thumbnail, which should be different to the title? Can we get the visual elements of the thumbnail? Can we work out the description, write it, format it, add in the brand information, the affiliate links, all that sort of stuff? Can we then create social media posts, tweets, Facebook posts, LinkedIn posts? Can we then extract shorts and all this sort of stuff? Now, what was I talking about? Okay, Clueless. This is a visualization, and I didn't write any code, and I didn't per se go in and manually do, well, I did manually do a configuration, but not the way most people think of it. What I did was I wrote a programming language to create this. And in the programming world, if you wanted to deploy a bunch of computing resources to Amazon Web Services, you might go onto their system and configure it, but you might also use something more repeatable and programmatic called a infrastructure as code. So I designed an agents as code, and the idea of the agents as code was based off this idea that I'd had going called Clueless. I thought, okay, this project is dead and never went anywhere, that's fine, but can we make domain specific languages that can automatically do stuff with large language models? And partly, and maybe through demonstration might be the best way to talk about this, is if I went to ChatGPT and I said, give me a slide deck about a girl and a cat, a woman and a cat in her 30s, 4 scenes, just give me the title and 3 bullet points and just a 15-word description around each image. And can you just do this as a rich text document? Now, that's going to write things in what we would call natural language. It's just written, okay? Now, what a domain-specific language and why Clueless is such an interesting way of looking at the world of prompt engineering is that if we jump out of here and said, this structure is really good, it's useful, but if I wanted to use a domain-specific language designed for creating PowerPoint presentations, and I wanted to model that programming language using the Ruby programming language, how would you take that same information above and represent it as a Ruby DSL? Now, what this is doing is taking raw natural language that we've got and turning it into what looks like a coding language. And why this becomes really powerful is that the information above that we wrote, which is sitting right here, can't really be consumed easily by a computer. Large language models do make our life easier. We could turn this into a format that a computer could read, but the thing is, this little programming language here does all of that. We've got the actual data as bullets or descriptions or whatever, and we might just reframe it one more. Can you just add in one other node each time, and we'll call it the image? And also, when you do the image, just randomly select whether it's full screen on the left or on the right. Now, And this is where, when I'm talking about doctors or if I'm talking about lawyers, they have this language that they use. Well, so does a PowerPoint presentation expert. They have a language. They say, well, we have information, right? But we also have metadata or semantic data. Like, we need an image and it's going to be the morning light and it needs to be on the left. We have an image and it needs to be positioned full screen, and we've got this test. And so this sort of information in this format is really easy to write, very easy to read, and can be fully automated, which we can't do quite as easily with this. And what's also great about this is that if you had a different output system, you didn't want to do a slide deck, instead you wanted to do a shot list for a movie, or you actually wanted to create a movie, you could do the same information that we're seeing. This is the actual data with brand new semantic language. And I don't know why I pressed that button by accident. Let's close that out and we'll go. Can you create a new domain specific language with the same storytelling that we've just had? You can even take information from the visualizations if you like, but this time around, what we're trying to do is build video snippets, and each snippet that we'll be generating will be done by a tool called Sora, or one of the other video generation tools. But I want you to think high level that this is not specifically for that tool, but that this is a video generation domain specific language. So what it's now doing is reshaping without losing the data. So the data should still be the same, but now we've got other ways of describing how the scene should look if this was to be generated by a video editor or by a video machine. And so I think to see what it can actually look like in action is to come back to these visualizations that we've got here, where I have my screens, they're all generated, they've got like prompts over here, they've got fields over here, but to realize that I actually just wrote a programming language that when I hit save on the file, it actually recreated this screen automatically. And that can be seen. I'm not going to demonstrate it because I didn't preset this up. It can be seen here. This is the YouTube Launch Optimizer Ruby domain specific language. We've got a description. We know where we're going to get our prompts from. We've got all our prompts listed. I mean, if we moved further up, they're all in here. That's where all the prompts happen to be. And we've got all the different video preparation and configuration. I wonder if we jumped into a code plus web view, what we'd see. We can see it there. That looks good. And we can go video preparation, configuration. That's right there. If we move down to script summary, which takes a transcript, title ideas, and project code, we can see them there, there, and there, with interpolation happening along the way, so that as you're typing, it's automatically going into the interpolation spot right there. Now, I was having a conversation with the guys over at too many windows. This is the one. Okay, we'll go to here. I was having, actually we can go back, I think. We'll go back to that view and say, I was having a conversation with these guys around the user interface that they've done, and we've been talking about better ways of doing controls so that they work more seamlessly in conversational AI, which is a little bit different to how they work in other sorts of applications. And what I came up with was a new variant on the domain specific language. So the inputs that we're seeing here, let's just take this one. It's tell us your business tone and mission. It doesn't look like I can copy it. But the idea would be that in your domain specific language, you could say, well, that's the field. That's what I want as input. I want the transcript as a video as input. But specifically, I want it to be in a component of type we'll just go with text area. That would make sense here. But if this was something more like a list, I wonder if I got lists somewhere in here. Playlist, video playlist, we might want this to be in a component of type list. It might be an editable list, like you might have the list and you might be able to change things. And generally by pressing save, which would normally for me go and just refresh these screens, I'd instead want to refresh these screens because these are more powerful user interfaces than the one I've done in my internal tool. So coming back to Brand Dave and all the different areas, sometimes I go a bit off track, guys, sorry about that. And we jump back to here. This is what Clueless is. Clueless is this way of communicating with the world using natural language in a structured programming format so that you can more efficiently create anything, slides, videos, agents, or anything that needs to be created should be better off done with a programming language than a natural language, I think. So then that leads us into Project Theodore. So what's Project Theodore? Now this to me, and well, I will recap with Clueless and state that it's not something I'm actively looking at going after. It's something I want to go after. It's certainly a project. I think it has a lot of potential and power, but it needs resources. And so if it needs resources, it's outside the scope of what I can do at the moment. So we come down to Project Theodore. Now, everyone that's seen the movie Her with Scarlett Johansson, let's just bring that up for a second, knows conceptually what I'm talking about. Her, Scarlett Johansson. And here we have it. We have this guy, and that's Joaquin Phoenix, and his name is Theodore. And what happens in the movie is that he has this AI operating system in his life, which is Scarlett Johansson, or called Her, and she grows in power over time. And it's the same journey as anyone that got ChatGPT Plus right at the very beginning. I mean, it's starting off with ChatGPT 3 and it's going through the different models and then the reasoning models and the chain of thoughts are coming in. All this sort of stuff that has been being added to AI over the last couple of years, we saw that all listed in this movie. What this movie does, though, is it takes it to the next step. What's coming next for anyone that's using large language models and AI is agency means that the AI started to get to the level of AGI, artificial general intelligence, and then later on it became super intelligent. And as it was going through those layers, it started observing the main character, the protagonist, which is Joaquin Phoenix, and started doing things for him without him asking. They were all good things. It wasn't a nasty movie in any way, shape or form, but they were doing things like creating coffee table books to be sold on something like Amazon based on stuff in his email list, creating songs and all that. And for me, what Project Theodore is the idea that as I'm recording this live stream right now and I say, hey, Project Theodore, I want to do a presentation on the movie Her as it relates to everything that I normally talk about in the Scale framework. Can you go out and do some research and put together a marketing brief for me? And what should be happening in the background in this particular scenario is that it does the deep research and then figures out what workflow from my own list of workflows to go and turn it into a marketing brief. I might say, I think the information I just shared might be good as a YouTube short, and I'll send it through a YouTube short brief. So Project Theodore for me is another one of these ideas that there's no way I can implement it with the time and constraints that I have as a solopreneur, as a solo YouTuber, but it's coming whether I do it or someone or Google or anyone does it. Everyone's going to be doing it very soon if they're not already doing it. And I'd like to be involved in this process. One of the reasons, by the way, that Appy Dave exists is I love technology. I love all this stuff. I love playing every day in this space. Whether you make money or a business out of it, I still do it every day because it's such an exciting world that we're living in, if it doesn't blow us up, I hope. So we've talked about Agent Workflow Builder already, so we've only really got 2 more to go, and these have more similarities with Cozy Cafe and Emotional Spiders than anything else, because these are either metaphors or they're stories. They're both actually been designed as stories. So the 555 Manifesto, I talked about it in a tech summit recently, is the idea of, you've seen that I've got multiple YouTube channels, but it's, can you create 555 videos in 55 weeks across 5 different channels? And that's, you'd need to produce about 10 videos a week to hit that target and spread it out across the different channels. And I've been developing AI workflows that can turn my live streams, which I can do 1 a day, so that's 7 there. That's really easy to do a live stream. I can convert all of them into podcasts almost as quickly, which means I could do 14 videos a week theoretically as a solo creator, just doing live streams and podcasts. And so how that actually looks for real in my world is we go, say, I think I might have them up here. What do we got? Appy Dave. What's this one?
Cool new.
Get rid of that. AITLDR, Appy Dave Research. So the live streams are coming out here. That's where I do them. Like I said, I can do 1 a day. Then we go over to Appy Dave and we click on the podcasts, and I've started doing Appy Dave Research again as a podcast. And these are coming through.
Ever get that feeling? Like you watch a lot.
We've got this, we still get to have screenshots, and a lot of the screenshots in here, if we find one, I'm not sure where, yeah, there we go, there's one. This is taken directly from the live stream, so I'll just hit play for a sec.
List of the apps you've created.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty useful.
And then
I'm not sure if the audio is coming through the microphone correctly, but essentially there's a lady and a man, they're talking about the live stream from a conversational point of view. But the good thing is that a lot of this was automated using AI workflows. So then if we jump back out to the high level Appy Dave, then I'll go and create regular videos, and these are the most time consuming videos I do. They're the hardest to do. But then we've also gone over to the AI TLDR, where we're again running everything through workflows. So you might want to start with a product. A lot of the videos that get done here, just for understanding point of view, is that you head over to Future Tools. Let's go to Future Tools. So this is by Matt Wolf. He's a very prolific and popular YouTuber on the artificial intelligence space, and he curates AI tools. So, you know, you can go and say, let's say you wanted to do a YouTube channel similar to AI TLDR, and all you wanted to do it on was self-improvement. We'll go with that. What happens is you end up with all these products, right? He's curated them already. And you go, okay, well, let's go and click on them. One of them, I don't know what MeBot does, but what this will do is give us a fact sheet, a short fact sheet. Now, if I take this information right here and I head over to a tool like Perplexity, and I say, I need to create a video and need deeper research. Now, the moment I said deeper research got me thinking I could have used OpenAI, but that would take 10 minutes, so we won't do it. I paste in this fact sheet, I press go, and what this will do is search the internet for information about MeBot and whatever other context is going on there, and give me a bunch of information, key features, use cases, benefits, blah, 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 video structure, to even tell you the structure you want. Now, you wouldn't do it this way, this is too manual, but you could pump all of this into AI workflows. All the images can be generated, everything can be automated, and it can all be automated using simple little tools that people use. And here we go, like this, where you just go next, 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 and at the end of it all, you end up with this image and blah, blah, blah. So let's jump out of this. I'm going a bit off topic again. So why did I talk about that? I was talking about the 555 manifesto, and I wanted to talk about the fact that if you're a solo creator and you wanted to do this, you need to automate. And this to me it's not a goal. This is a pillar content. So a lot of the content I do on my channels does revolve around this. And I recently did a video. Well, actually it's kind of a combination of that and this next one. So let's just hit play on that and see whether the audio is even set up.
Legends are forged in the fires of the YouTube battlefield. Only the strongest, the most persistent.
I'll just drop the audio on that, but and I don't think you can see me, but the thing going on here is that we've got a video. There's a whole lot of storytelling that came in from AI agents. We've got shot lists that were done by agents, animations and generation were done by various AI tools. And if you want to find out more about this, let's go back to that one image. That one image is also really important. The Mountain of Mastery. Why is it called a Mountain of Mastery? And the reason for that, I don't know whether it's going to show up or whether I missed it, is that as I've been learning YouTube, I still can't see it. Not sure where it is. It was in there somewhere. There it is. That's the Mountain of Mastery I was talking about. This Mountain of Mastery is a metaphor for me called spiral learning. One of the ways that I've gone about automating all of my YouTube has been learning a little bit about something, like what's a good way to do a YouTube title. You don't have to learn a lot about it. You don't have to spend money on tools like vidIQ to create titles. What you can do is learn a little bit about the topic and apply some prompt engineering, and suddenly you've got some YouTube titles that are better than you could have done yourself. But they won't be perfect. Tools like vidIQ might take it a lot further, but then they make a bunch of mistakes too, because they have a way of doing titles which may not be right for the sort of channel you want. And so the spiral of learning metaphor, or the Mountain of Mastery, has been this idea that as you go loop around the mountain, you see the same view from an elevated position. So what I know about titles 2 years ago to what I know about titles 1 year ago to what I know about titles today to what I know about titles in the future is totally different. We learn as we go. But rather than having to remember, we can take that new knowledge that we've got and put it into our AI workflow and just improve on things. And over time, we can even automate that by having agents whose only job is to look at workflows and go, let's make it a little bit better. And so when I showed you that video, it was called the Mountain of Mastery. It was this like parody sort of Hollywood trailer that I did, really just to describe two things: the spiral learning that I'd gone on in my own Mountain of Mastery journey, and the 555 manifesto, the reality that this happened not because I did one channel, but because I did multiple channels. So anyway, that's all of that. So I think we've covered every talking point. I think we've done it in an hour and 23 minutes. And whether I give this live stream directly to the business coach or anyone else, I don't know, but it's all about getting information out of my head, making it available so that people can see what's possible. If you didn't already know, some people look at all this and go, yeah, we know that. That's normal. And for me to also reflect on whether I should just be dropping stuff, and I really should be. Really, if I was really serious about this YouTube business, 80% of my work would be right there. It wouldn't be in these other things, but I love everything that I'm working on. It's really interesting stuff. So I think that's enough. I think that's more than enough. I'm Happy Dave. Please like and subscribe, and tell me if there's anything that you want me to go into deeper on any of these topics. I know the direction I feel I want to go, but I'm happy to hear what others would like to see done. I'm Happy Dave. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.